Hello, my name is Ray. Thanks for clicking on this video. If you're new to my channel, please check out my other videos. I'm going to get right into the topic. Today's topic is bands that have come back after a sellout album. Now this excludes a hiatus or a band breakup or any of that other stuff. So I'm going to start with one of the first ones, Kiss. 1982's Creatures of the Night was a great comeback album. And you got to figure, Kiss did like 3 sellout albums kind of in a row. They did Dynasty, which was that rock disco. Then they did Unmasked, which was very poppy, which I do like. I like both of those. And then they did the experimental album, Music from the Elder. Now I like Music from the Elder. I thought that was an interesting one. But you could just imagine fans at the time, you know, were like, you know, during those 3 years when they put out bad albums. Which, by today's standards, not too bad, you know, considering the years that they were released, because a 4-year gap is usually what we wait nowadays, or longer, for a new album anyways. They just put out an album every single year. But in 1982, they came out with Creatures of the Night. Eric Carr got the drum and, you know, showed his skills. And there was just heavier songs on there, and it was the comeback album. I'm not sure how it was. I don't think it was too well received right at first. It took a couple of years for people to realize that Kiss was, you know, hey, here to stay, and we're a rocking band and everything. Awesome comeback album. Creatures of the Night. Okay, Judas Priest. In 1986, Judas Priest released Turbo Lover. Now, once again, I can understand how fans, after hearing Scream for Vengeance and Defenders of the Faith, would hate this album. It's right when I got into Judas Priest, and I loved Turbo Lover. I did. But ram it down 2 years later, 1988, they came back. Now a lot of people think, I don't know, even Johnny Z mentioned this, that Painkiller was their comeback album. Painkiller was not specifically the comeback album. It was Ram It Down. You listen to songs like Ram It Down, Heavy Metal, and Hard as Iron. There's 3 insanely heavy songs on there. Even Nightcrawler is really good. There's several like really heavy songs on there. The only pop-related song that was released as a video and was kind of, you know, relatively commercial was Johnny B. Good. That's it. So Ram It Down. So everybody who thinks that Painkiller is the comeback album, sorry, but you're wrong. It's Ram It Down, 1988. Okay, now for the thrash section. Exodus, 1992. I've mentioned this before. Force of Habit, which is a terrible album. They changed their logo. They tried to do what a lot of other bands did, and it was just a terrible album. I hated it. And I don't know too many, I mean, you'll see comments once in a while, people say that they like it. I don't know why, but it was a terrible album. But it took a good like 12 years. 2004, finally, when Zetro returned to Exodus and they released Temple of the Damned. It was the original lineup again, well, most of it. And it was the band again. So 12 years later, finally, when Zetro returned, they released Temple of the Damned, a really cool heavy rock one, thrash one, and that was a comeback album. Considering the last one with Zetro was Force of Habit, 92. Ironically enough, the next 2 albums and bands I'm going to be talking about put out a sellout album in 1999, but returned in 2001. Let's start with the more popular one, Megadeth. Megadeth released Risk in 1999, and when I heard it, I was like, I tried to get into it. I really didn't love it. I didn't think it was that great. So once 2001 hit and they released The World Needs a Hero, that was a comeback album from that sellout album there. So they definitely did redeem themselves. I see they did that. They did that thing. They did the thing where a lot of people were, you know, it was late 90s. Some bands were like, all right, you know what? It's already 99. A lot of bands have been selling out anyways. Let's try to go more commercial and do something different. Next is Creator with Endorama, 1999. Now I bought Coma of Souls. I bought several of their other previous albums. Coma of Souls, Outcast, and then of course the one before it. Creator Selling Out, which I accepted. I was like, alright, let me try to get into these songs. And I threw the CD in my car, so I got used to it. And I liked the songs. It wasn't really like classic Creator, but I figured that they were just toying with us and they were just doing an experimental thing. And the experimental thing is just a once in a while thing, or, you know, one album kind of deal. So in 2001, when Creator came out with Violent Revolution, by that time I was listening to, you know, stuff on like CD Universe or other websites that would allow you to sample at least 30 seconds of the song. That was really good because it allowed you to hear if this was going to be another Endorama or what, or if it was going to be a heavy album, or, you know, just for you to sample it and see if you like it. So I listened to it and it sounded really heavy, and I was like, oh, cool. This one sounds really good. So I went out and got the tape, the CD. That took like a month to get it. Bought it in 2001, and I really liked it. It was a good comeback album. Metallica, I go do a whole other video on Metallica, but quick note here. I mean, thousands of fans are saying Metallica sold out just for no reason. I mean, geez, smoking a cigars, cutting hair, changing a logo on them, on all that shit. I mean, come on. It was a little friggin' messed up. And then, of course, then the Lulu friggin' experiment thing. That was just totally friggin' bizarre. But anyways, it was one of those deals where you're like, oh, they're just toying with us. They're going to come back. They're just messing with us right now. The next album's going to really kick ass. The next album's going to be heavier than hell. And we haven't got that. Several of the other past albums that I've heard from them weren't really that great. I didn't think Death Magnetic was that great. Hardwired to Self-Destruct, I kind of like. There's some good songs off of that one. Some people consider that one, so I guess I'll throw that one on there. Some people consider that the comeback album. I don't think it's a real comeback album and a return to their roots, because the simple fact there's some good rocking songs on there, but then yet there's a lot of like load and reload type of material that are on Hardwired to Self-Destruct. I don't know. I don't think they're ever going to change again or go back to their thing or anything. I don't ever think they're going to do that. It would be cool if they did that, but yeah. In closing, I think each band, any band that's kind of heavy or hard rocking, should do at least like one sellout album. I guess, especially if you're trying to break a record contract and the record company says, oh, it's one more album. And then you're like, okay. Oh, you're going to force us to do another album? Okay, it's going to be the queerest album you ever heard in your life, though. And then sell it that way, just to make sure that the sales are low, or make sure that people don't like it, or what that cover. I mean, that's just one scenario. Other bands have done that before. But anyways, I think it's good if they do, to do an experimental album. You know, you want to do an experimental album. You want to do like a pop song. You want to do some kind of alternative thing and some just weird-ass song. I think that's fine, but yet it's also great to see a band come back fully with a vengeance on the next album, and it's heavier than hell. And I think bands like Judas Priest and Kiss did that perfectly. That's all I have for today. I got a lot more videos coming up, and thanks for watching. I'll see you later.